Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thursday. So today we're just going to be reviewing for the quiz tomorrow. It's on the three things we've talked about this week. It's going to be on finding regression, right? The R squared value in Desmos, um, which you have to multiply by 100 to get a percent. Then we had the zeros and vertex, which you also find on Desmos just by clicking on the graph. And then we also had the standard to vertex form, which you guys did amazingly on the homework. So today will be review day, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm actually going to condense it all into one problem. Only one problem can answer all these questions, and I'll show you what I mean. So, these are the things we're going to need to be able to get. The zeros, the vertex, R squared, the graph, the link to your graph from Desmos, vertex form, and standard form. And remember, um, this notes today we'll be looking at for your note grade at the end of the week. So, with that being said, let me show you how this is going to look. When you get your quiz, I'm going to have something like this, and that's all I'm going to give you. I'm going to tell you what I need, and I'm going to give you a table. And I'm about to show you how you can find everything from this table. So first off, how do we find our equation? Because we're going to need an equation to actually work with for this problem. Well, if I move this, so all I'd do is on Desmos, I would plug in my numbers here. So I'd plug in the 0, the 1, and the 2, and then the 4, the negative 14, and the negative 28, and it will plot my points on the graph, like that. So the first thing is asking me for my equation. How the heck do I find my equation from this? Well, if you scroll down, it gives us R squared, but it also gives us A, B, and C. These, oh, where's my page? These A, B, and C's. In other words, for standard form, all I really have to do is plug those three numbers in from Desmos. So y equals, what's A? Looks like A is 2, plus B. What's B? Looks like B is negative 20. And what's C? 4. And I have my standard form equation. No, that wasn't too bad. What's the next thing we'll be looking for? R squared and the link to our graph. Where do I find R squared? It's right there, and it's just the number 1. But wait, there's more. I can't just leave it like this. That's not right. I have to multiply that by 100%. 1 times 100% gives me 100%. There's my R squared value. The graph link, to get that, I would go over here to share graph, copy that, and paste it in. Okay, what's the next piece? www.desmos something. My zeros. If you go on your graph and you zoom in on where it hits the graph, so if I look, it goes bam, hits it there, and bam, it hits it there. So I'm going to click where it hits it on the left. And it looks like that 0 is where my x is 0.204. And it hits it again over here. And if I click that, it gives me the point 9.796. And it looks like these are my two zeros. So it looks like my zeros were 0.204 and 9.796. So I would type those two numbers in. I'm okay if you separate them with a comma or a space, however you want to type it. It's not a problem. Next is looking for my vertex. So to find my vertex, remember we said in the notes that the vertex is the very top or the very bottom of the graph. Doesn't look like I'll find the top, but it does look like I can find the bottom of it. So if I scroll in on the bottom and click right in the middle, it should give me the point, and it does. Looks like the vertex is 5, negative 46. And there's my vertex. The last part of this will be give me vertex form. So I can use the standard form I found to get that. So I found standard form from Desmos. So I got to find vertex form. Let's do it. So this is my A, this is my B, and this is my C. So first for vertex form, I got to find my H. What's H? Opposite of B over 2A. What's the opposite of B? Negative 20. The opposite of negative 20 is positive 20. Over 2 times A. What's A? 2. All right, that equals 20 divided by 4. You can't see that. 20 divided by 4 gives me 5. So my H is 20. Second, I got to find my K. How do I find K? I plug in my H into the standard form equation. So I'm going to write this equation, except instead of x, I'm going to write 5. So that's 2x squared. So instead of that, I write 5 squared plus negative 20x. So that'll be plus negative 25 plus 4 plus 4. Then I solve this for k. What's 5 squared? 25. Plus negative 20 times 5, what is that? 100 plus negative 100 plus 4. What's 2 times 25? 50 plus negative 100 plus 4. What's 100 minus 50? What's 50 combined with negative 100? Negative 50 plus 4. What's negative 50 plus 4? Negative 46. There is my k. So I have my h, it's 5, and I have my k, it's negative 46. And I have my a, we already said a was 2. So if my a is 2, my h is 5, and my k is negative 46, I just plug those into this equation and I'm done. So my a is 2 times the quantity of x minus h, what's h? 5, minus 5 squared plus k, that's minus 46. And there's my vertex form, and I'm done with the problem. So moving this back to full screen. Oh, that's the wrong mouse. Moving this back to full screen, what I did, pause it if you need to finish writing that, by the way. I was given 3 points. I plugged them into Desmos, and I used the A, B, and C buttons right over here to get, right over here, to get my A, B, and C for standard form, so I wrote my own equation. Once I had my own equation, I looked at the R value, and it was 1, so I plugged that in. Got the graph link. Then for my zeros, I went to Desmos, I went to the graph, I looked at where it touches the x-axis. Where is it? There it is. I clicked the buttons, and I looked at the 2 points. Then I got my zeros. To find the vertex, I went to the bottom, clicked on the bottom, it gave me the point. Then lastly, I had to find vertex form, and to do that, I did the usual thing we did last night, where we get our h and our k. Let me do one more of these just so you can see it again, and then I will leave you to your homework. So, second example, I'm given 3 points. First thing I need to find is standard form. So I go to Desmos and I plug in my 3 points. I have 1, negative 7. I have 3, negative 3. And I have 4, 8. 3 points. So I'm going to look over at my graph and look for where is it. There it is, I found it. So if I scroll down to where my ax squared plus bx plus c stuff is, then I should find my 3. It looks like I have a 3 for a b for negative 10, and a c for 0. So I'm going to plug those numbers in. So y equals ax squared, a is 3, b is negative 10, negative 10x, plus c, c is 0, plus 0. If you don't want to write plus 0, you don't have to, because it doesn't mean anything. Alrighty, I have my standard form equation. So the second thing I need to find is r equals and my link, r squared equals. So to find r squared, once again, I just look on Desmos, it's right there. It's 1. So I have 1. Can't stop there, got to multiply it by 100%. That gives me 100%. My link, I go up to the top, I copy the link, and I paste it in. Next thing I need to find are my zeros. How do I find those? On Desmos, I look for where the graph is hitting the x-axis. It goes bam and bam. That one is 0, 0. So the x value of that is 0. What's the x value of this one? Looks like it's 3.333. There's my zeros. Next, I gotta find my vertex. How do I find my vertex? I scroll down, look for the very bottom, click on the very bottom. It gives me a point. 1.667, negative 8.333. There's my vertex. Alrighty. Once I have my vertex, what I gotta find is vertex form. So, to find vertex form, all I have to do is find h first. It's negative b over 2a. And I'm going to use a smaller marker so I can actually fit this. So the opposite of b over 2a, what's b? On Desmos, we can see b is negative 10. So that gives me negative 10, which gives me positive 10, over 2 times a. A was 3, so that's 2 times is 3, which is 6. So that's 10 over 6. Ooh, this one's not going to work out too nicely, but let's do it anyway. So I have 10 over 6 for h. Now to find k, I plug in my h value for x on all 3 of them for the equation. So my equation was 3x squared plus negative 10x plus 0. So I'm going to plug in 10 over 6 for all those. So 3 times 10 over 6 squared minus 10 times 10 over 6 plus 0. Now I got to solve this sucker. So 10 over 6 squared would be 100 over 36. So that's 3 times 100 over 36 minus 10 times 10 would be 100. 100 over 6 plus 0 is nothing. This is when I'm going to use a calculator because I don't want to do this. So when you put this in the calculator, you end up with a grand total of negative 8.33333 something something something. It just keeps going. So this is my k value. So I have my h, 10 over 6. I have my k, negative 8.33333. So, and I have my a. My a was 2. No, my a was 3. So when I plug all these back into vertex form, which is this, I get y equals a, which is 3, times the quantity of x, minus h. What was h? 10 over 6. So minus 10 over 6 squared plus k. What's k? Negative 8.3333. So minus 8.3333. That's it. So this is what the problem is going to look like on the quiz, and this is what the problem is going to look like for your homework. So this basically reviews everything we've done this week in one problem. So on Google Classroom, I have this problem posted with blanks exactly in the format of the quiz. In fact, I'm literally going to use the same form as the quiz form. All I'm going to do is change the graph numbers. So if you can do the homework, you got the quiz down. If you can't do the homework, then you definitely need to reach out for me on GroupMe Maybe we can schedule a Zoom meeting or something and I can show you how to do it. But with that being said, that's all I got today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. And hey, happy Friday, because we're almost there.